There are two different ways to show repetition within a system sequence diagram. One we saw before using the asterisk to indicate message repeats. Sometimes this can lead to ambiguous logic. Another technique for showing a loop on a system sequence diagram, or any sequence diagram for that matter, is using a loop frame. There are three types of frames used in system sequence diagrams. One's the loop frame, there's also the optional frame, and the alt for alternatives frame, which we'll see in a moment. You draw a frame over the area where the two objects are communicating. And the loop frame has a little section at the top here where we put the word loop. And one way to do it is just simply say loop for all items, because what we're doing here in this example is adding items to an order. So we loop for all items. So the first item that needs to be added, we send the message add item with this item ID and this quantity, and then the system adds that and returns the description price and extended price that it's looked up for that item. And then the actor can add another item with its item ID and its quantity, and then the system will return its description price and extended price. So this will repeat everything within this loop frame rectangle. The other way of doing it that we talked about before is with the asterisk. And here we're combining the same logic as the example above, using the asterisk notation and including the return and the message all on one message. So this does not show a separate return. So what this is saying is repeat using the asterisk, and then the square braces indicate that it's a guard condition or truth condition. So what this is saying is if it's true there is another item, then send the message add item with an item ID and a quantity, and then return the description price and extended price. So this is equivalent to using the frame above. Here is a system sequence diagram for a use case named ship items. This is an RMO use case for when an order has been placed or a sale has been created online, that the shipping department needs to find out what the next order is they need to ship, and then record information about that shipping process. So in this SSD we have a shipping clerk as the actor, and then of course, as always, the system is the object that the shipping clerk is interacting with. The first message is get next sale, which is sent to the system, and then the system returns the customer, the address, information about the sale, and information about sale items back to the shipping clerk. And then the shipping clerk determines what's the best way to ship each item. So it chooses a shipper and sends the message set shipper with the parameter being the shipper ID. So now the system knows the shipper should be for this sale. And then we have a loop frame. And so we loop for each shipped item. And the actor sends the message record shipped item and provides the sale item as a parameter. And then the system sends back the shipping confirmation. And then if there's another shipped item, the actor sends record shipped item message again with that sale item, and the system returns shipping confirmation. Now if an actor is not able to ship one of the items because it's not in stock or some other reason, then there's another loop that says if it's true that an item needs to be back ordered, it's a back order item, then record the back order for that sale item, and the system returns back order confirmation. And if there's another item that has to be back ordered, then there's record back order message again with sale item, that sale item, and then another back order confirmation. And we're done with all the back orders, then the actor sends the message get shipping label with package size and weight of the entire shipment, and the system will get all the information about that customer and shipping and so forth, and return the shipping label data, which then the shipping clerk can use to actually ship the physical package. So that's an example of a use case that uses a couple of loop frames. The other two types of frames are the opt frame and the alt frame. The opt frame means that the steps, the messages back and forth, are optional. And it uses the same kind of rectangle with the same area at the top with the word OPT in it for optional. And what this says If it's true that an accessory has been selected, then add the accessory, and here's the accessory information. And then the system will return accessory details. The alt frame is a traditional if-else kind of syntax. And so we have a frame with a dotted line down the middle, and it says alt at the top. It means alternatives. So alternative, if the item is taxable, if it's true that it's a taxable item, then send the message add sales tax, and here's a location code to help determine the tax amount. And then the system will calculate that and return the sales tax detail. Else, if it's true that it's not a taxable item, then add tax exception code with an exception code, and the system will return tax exemption details. So this is basically the if-else logic that we find in structured programming all the time.
In this figure, we show an alternative method to model the ship items use case. As shown here, we combine the loop frame with the alt frame. The alt frame is nested inside the loop frame. So how did this work? The flow of execution of an SSD is from top to bottom. So as we read down from the top, we first encounter the loop frame. Not only is it the first one we encounter, but it is also drawn as the larger outside frame. Hence the looping control is first. It is controlled by the test condition within the square brackets. The loop continues as long as there are more sale items. Nested inside the loop frame is the alt frame. It becomes effective inside the loop frame and is active for each iteration of the loop. As before, the test condition is indicated by the phrase within the square brackets. In this case, the record shipped item message is invoked if the test condition shipped item is true. Otherwise, the else condition holds, and the initiate backorder message is invoked. Instead of the else condition, we could use a test condition such as backorder item, assuming that is the only valid alternative.